Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well. In this video, we're going to take a look at the stock market and take a look at what the charts of the stock markets are telling us. Before we look at the charts, though, back in August, we had a severe drop in the stock market. Actually happened again in September of this year as well. What we need to remember is this, though, that in both of those cases when the markets dropped, we were close to making what's called a Dow theory sell signal. But a Dow theory sell signal, in my view, was never triggered. Why? Because we never closed below the prior lows, as we'll see in a few minutes. So even though we mentioned in the previous video that there could be a Dow theory sell signal being triggered if we take out the prior lows, the Dow theory sell signal was never officially triggered because of the fact we never took out those prior lows. So we need to remember that. Now, if we just take a look at, before we look at the first chart, what I'm going to show you is a chart, the Dow Transportation Index. The Dow Transportation is a leading signal, a leading indication for the stock markets. Because you see, the Dow Transportation looks at the transportation stocks. And transportation, as I'm sure you know, is a key part of the economy. So if transportation is not doing very well, because remember, there are two kinds of companies. There are two kinds of economies. There's the companies that make stuff and companies that take stuff. So if companies are manufacturing stuff, making stuff, but if it's not being transported, if there's less demand, if there's less transportation, that's why transportation is a key sensitive signal about the economy. A drop in transportation is, of course, shows sensitivity to weakness and demand in the economy. As you can see from this chart, the first one is Dow Transportation. Notice that we actually tested that level, that low level there, at about 9,700 four times now. Actually, the last two times it dropped, we had a false breakout, almost a false breakout there. And whenever you see a false breakout, just leave the chart for a second. Whenever you see a false breakout, it means this: price breaks a low, the prior lows, and immediately reverses. Whenever you see a false breakout and price quickly reverses above a key level, like a previous low or 200 moving average, essentially the market is saying, you know what, I've changed my mind. I don't think so. I'm going the other way.
Well, you know what? Nah. Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
So if you just take a look at this chart one more time, you see that's pretty much what the Dow Transportation did. Came back to those lows, quickly reversed and changed its mind, formed a bullish candlestick pattern, a hammer, and then rallied there, as you can see from October. I actually think this chart is looking bearish right now. Why? Because I think this is looking to be a potential top here on the Dow Transportation on the right-hand side. Notice the shape of that candle. It's like shooting star, doji style candle, which forming at a major resistance level there at 11,200 approximately. I think as long as the Dow Transportation remains below 11,250, that high it made there this month, as long as it remained below that level, this could be a potential top on the Dow Transportation, and we could drop from here, especially if the Dow Transportation takes out that prior support near 10,800. If we drop below it and close below it, close below the 21 moving average as well, this could be a very likely top. I actually think this is a likely top here, an intermediate top, I should say, an intermediate top for the markets until probably throughout the rest of this year, potentially by December. In December, we usually see what's called a Santa Claus rally as well. We'll talk more about the Santa Claus rally in a separate video. And just the last chart I want to show you is the Russell. So as you can see here, guys, in the Russell chart, this is also a very important leading indication because the small cap stocks often drive the market too. As long as the Russell remains below 1620 or 1618, a previous high, this could also potentially be a topping formation here on the Russell, and we could see another drop down to the previous levels. I think we could potentially see a drop here on both the Russell and the Dow Transportation, and potentially the stock markets overall, because these are leading indications. I think, in other words, if we just keep an eye on the Russell and the Dow Transportation, because we could be potentially forming a likely top in both these markets, in both the Russell and the Dow Transportation here. On the Russell, if we break and close below those green dots we see on the chart, and also below the 21 moving average, I think a close below 1560 perhaps could bring about more bearish potential to push it down to the prior lows. And here's the thing, guys, if the Russell and the Dow Transportation, if they revisit those lows again, the lows they made in the last few months, we could potentially break those levels significantly, and that could lead to further more bearishness. So that's all I got, really. Anyways, thanks very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.